What's up, guys? It's Mion. I am back with another video, and I'm back with my NASCAR Cup Series Richmond race review. I did not do, well, technically, I did do a Truck Series race review for last night, but I didn't upload it because I had issues with my internet and it being too slow to load shit. So, I didn't get to post it. I'm not going to post it today. If you saw the community tab, I'm just not posting it because there was only one incident caution the entire truck race. Fuck that. But here's the Cup Series race reaction, and man, Kevin Harvick, he goes from going 60 plus races without winning one to he's now won back to back Michigan and Richmond, winning Richmond for the first time since 2013. 9 years. And the crazy thing is, when you look at it, oddly enough, for some weird reason, his season this year kind of mirrors Tony Stewart's season back in 2011, where he struggles a bunch of the year, then goes on a tear very late into the season, winning races in the playoffs, wins races in the playoffs, and we all know what happened. Carl Edwards and Tony Stewart finished tied in points, but by virtue of wins, Tony Stewart wins the championship. I mean, look, Kevin Harvick's got all the fucking momentum right now. We've got 2 races left after this. I'm just saying. But with that being said, make sure to like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you don't miss out on future videos and streams. Make sure to use code ANJJ for $5 off on orders of $30 or more at Circuit Diecast. And let's go ahead and let's get into this race. So, Kyle Larson wins the pole. Harrison Burton and BJ McLeod start at the back due to unapproved adjustments. Tyler Reddick brings out the caution early for a spin. Kyle Busch gets into the wall late in stage 1, and Ross Chastain takes the stage 1 victory. Hamlin second, Larson third, Keselowski fourth, Byron fifth, Blaney sixth, Logano seventh, Bowman eighth, Custer ninth. Yes, Cole Custer finished ninth in stage 1, and Martin Truex Jr. 10th. Bowman loses a bunch of spots on pit road. Hamlin goes up track and makes contact with Larson while trying to put pressure on Chastain on the restart. One could argue maybe Hamlin was trying to take a shot at Chastain and it kind of didn't work. Almost ended up wrecking a bunch of cars in front of the field, but them's the brakes. Custer had smoke out of his car, says he lost power steering. He managed to run the entire rest of the way, but with no power steering, that fucking sucks. Chastain said he thought something might be wrong in the right rear. He would fall back during stage 2, and he just wouldn't be able to get back towards the front. It ended up finishing 1 or 2 laps down today, which sucks. Kyle Busch and Ty Gibbs exchange bumps for position. MTJ, Martin Truex Jr. says his car is shaking bad. We get green flag pit stops. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. misses pit road and makes contact with Truex Jr., then makes it to pit road on the next lap and gets a speeding penalty to boot. We get another round of green flag pit stops later in stage 2. Christopher Bell had a crew member over the wall too soon penalty. Ty Gibbs would pit again with smoke coming out from under the right front. Team reporting oil being seen, car being pushed behind the wall. Unfortunately, his engine had expired. His day would be done. Truex Jr. reports brake shake, and he would have contact with Logano a little later while battling for the lead. Almirola gives a couple of bumps to Blaney, and Joey Logano takes the stage 2 victory. Kyle Larson second, Denny Hamlin third, Kevin Harvick fourth, Ryan Blaney fifth, Eric Almirola sixth, Chris Buescher seventh, Chase Elliott eighth, Chase Briscoe ninth, and Kyle Busch in 10th. Yeah, so that's how that stage finished out. So, we head into stage 3. BJ McLeod gets a speeding penalty, and we get a caution just a couple of laps into stage 3. Kyle Busch goes for a spin, courtesy of Ross Chastain. Now, the cool thing, as I said last week with Michigan with the Chastain-Bell incident, would be to blame Chastain for everything. Not the case this time. And it wasn't the case last time either, and both Bell and Chastain acknowledged that. Eric Jones suffered a bunch of damage in this wreck. He would unfortunately take him out of the race. Chastain made contact with and spun Kyle Busch in turn 4. Eric Jones had gotten into Martin Truex Jr. There he is again. Gregson may have made slight contact with MTJ behind him. Busch looked like he may have come down on Chastain a little bit. And Chastain wasn't able to check up with people behind him. Not to mention he had Ty Dillon underneath him, and there were 3 wide. So it was basically a racing incident. No, it is what it is. Christopher Bell goes for a spin off turn 4, and he would bring out the caution. Chase Briscoe slides up into Kyle Larson about 2 laps after the restart. As I said, Eric Jones' day unfortunately done. Blaney moves Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch makes contact back with him a lap or 2 later, but falls back from him. Larson with a save after contact from Hamlin. Blaney pits at lap 295, early for green flag pit stops, but Larson comes the lap after, as do others, ensuing green flag pit stops. Briscoe almost makes contact with Ty Dillon on pit road. Dillon actually had gotten a commitment line violation penalty, and Briscoe had to come back to pit road with smoke in his car from a fire near the exhaust, which is the result of rubber buildup catching fire. So he would lose a few laps, unfortunately. Then we get the last set of green flag pit stops. Chris Buescher pits early on that. Harvick pits the next lap, as does Logano and Elliott. Hamlin's seen with an issue on pit road. The car dropped from the jack before the left front wheel went on. Luckily, Hamlin didn't leave, and they got it on. Little contact between Buescher and Harvick. While Buescher was trying to get around Harvick for the lead. Unfortunately, lap traffic kind of took that away from Buescher, and once that opportunity was lost, he fell back towards the end. Christopher Bell charged very hard to try to catch Harvick. He had fresher tires by a few laps, and there was a thought that maybe Bell could catch him. And I think if not for Austin, coming off turn 4 and having Cindric go high where Bell was going, then there's a chance that if Bell had gotten around him quickly, he would have made up more time to Harvick and potentially caught him at the very end. But that being said, Harvick takes the white flag, and as I mentioned before, he takes his second straight victory after going 60-plus races without winning one. This is actually his 60th career win, tying him for 9th all-time with Kyle Busch. And Chris Buescher would end up taking a 3rd-place finish at the end of the day. Bubba Wallace does not get a top 10 finish. He gets a top 15 finish. So, breaks his streak of top 10 finishes at 4, as he had the last 4 weeks. But he still looked pretty solid overall. And Chase Elliott entered today with a chance to clinch the regular season title. He does not, but he did make it easier for himself to do that next week at a track he's won at before, Watkins Glen. It's where he got his first career Cup victory, so he knows how to win there. I would imagine if Elliott manages to win stage 1, they're done. The championship's been clinched. Excuse me. Though, of course, that also depends on how Blaney does. And speaking of, if you look at Blaney and Martin Truex Jr. right now, Blaney is still in the 16th spot. He's still in because we got a repeat winner this week. And Martin Truex Jr. is still the first guy out. 2 races left. Both races with a chance to having a new winner. Watkins Glen does feel like a track where we're going to get a repeat winner, a la Larson, a la Elliott, somebody like that. But Martin Truex Jr., he's pretty solid here. And if he can put the race together, he can jump in, he can win and get into the playoffs. Blaney, he does have a road course win to his name, but remember, he was 3rd coming, at the end, and then Truex Jr. and Jimmy Johnson happened at the Roval. But regardless, Blaney, I honestly don't know who's in a more desperate position, Blaney or Martin Truex Jr. My argument, I would actually kind of put that towards MTJ because he's had chances to win. He just hasn't been able to put it together. And now, with 2 races left, him and Blaney are in polar opposite positions. Blaney's decent at road courses, and he knows how to win at super speedways. I mean, he won the Daytona regular season finale last year, winning back-to-back races himself, by the way, at the end of the season. And he's won at Talladega a couple of times. He knows how to get it done. And he was near the front at the end of the Daytona 500 this year. For Martin Truex Jr., he runs well at Watkins Glen. He's never won at a super speedway in the Cup Series. The closest he's ever come is when he got barely beat out by his not yet then teammate, but would be in the future, Denny Hamlin, for the Daytona 500 victory a few years back. After Hamlin's teammate Matt Kenseth kind of got screwed out of it, but regardless, I mean, desperation has to be setting in at this point because if somebody, if Blaney wins next week at Watkins Glen, or MTJ wins, or somebody else wins, a la Eric Jones, Bubba Wallace, I know he's not that great at road courses, but he has been improving. Busher, Brad Keselowski, Austin Dillon, Ty Dillon for that matter, somebody like that, then it's going to raise the stakes even higher at Daytona. Because at that point, then you have 16 winners. Somebody's got to win. And if you're not in the playoffs, you got to win and hope you have enough points to jump in. Now, the caveat to that is Kurt Busch was not in this race today. Ty Gibbs was, as I mentioned before. I don't think Kurt's returning before the end of the regular season. He's probably going to miss Watkins Glen. He's definitely going to miss Daytona. Even if he comes back for Watkins Glen next week. The question that I have is, do you put him in the car for Daytona? Knowing that if he gets involved in a wreck, especially a big one, it could aggravate the concussion that he's already suffered. I would honestly wait and have him come back when the playoffs start, because he does have a waiver to be eligible for the playoffs as long as he stays in the playoffs. Because he can't fall out of the top 30 in points because he has way too many points to do that. But if we somehow manage to get 2 new winners, depending on who they are and how many points you've got, and Kurt misses both of the next 2 races, he could get bounced from the playoffs as a result. Because at that point, it is about points. So either way, these final 2 races are going to be wild. I don't know what the hell to expect at Watkins Glen. I'd imagine it's going to be like road courses previous this season, where there's going to be plenty of contact, there's going to be some chaos, and somebody's going to get their feelings hurt while somebody else wins. I'd love it if we get another first-time winner, because we've had a bunch of first-time winners on road courses this year. Chastain, Reddick, and Suarez. Does somebody else, well, maybe not first-time winner in the sense of career, but especially for the season, does somebody pull that off? And then Daytona, no holds barred. It's every man for himself, so we'll see. But with all that being said, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I have other content coming up on the channel here soon. I've got diecast reviews I got to upload. I'm working on the 1987 Basketball GM Series season. I'm hoping to have that done soon so I can finally get the other 2 parts that I uploaded to then move on to 1988. My bad. And with all that being said, once again, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Make sure you use code ANJJ for $5 off on orders of $30 or more at Circuit Diecast. I'll catch you all next time. Peace.